Hi guys, so before I start the video, I would like to thank DKT and the entire team for inviting me and requesting me to make this video on a very interesting topic. A topic which is very close to me also, as in I do write about it very frequently, and I thought when they approached me that this would be a perfect opportunity for me to make a video on the same topic which I really like. So I'd like to thank them for that. And before I begin, I'd like to give a brief introduction about myself. So my name is Naveen Chandra. I am a 2018 batch IAS Officer belonging to West Bengal cadre. Right now I'm posted in Murshidabad district as Sub-Divisional Magistrate in Kandi subdivision. And it's been 4 years in the service, and it's been a journey which has been quite fulfilling, and I've seen, although I don't have that much of an experience, but whatever little I've been able to see and learn, it has been a fulfilling journey so far, and I hope and wish that it continues to go like this, and it gets even more exciting as the time passes. So I come from a middle class family from Ghaziabad. My father works in UP government. My mother used to teach. She still teaches, but now it's more of an hobby. I have two sisters who I grew up with. Both of them are younger to me. One of them is doctor, and another one is also preparing for UPSC, but she also teaches French freelance. And of course, I'm married. My wife works in the private sector. She right now is based out of Bangalore, but she travels for her work a lot. And as far as my UPSC journey is concerned, it was basically for me not a decision which I took in haste. It was a decision which was taken after due consideration, because I was in IIT Roorkee for my graduation, and in Roorkee I had tried my hand at startups. I had tried my hand at internships. I have worked in the private sector for an internship. And I have also worked on a research project in college. I have worked in a startup of a senior, and then I also, had a startup with my friends, which is very common in IITs. So I had an opportunity to explore a lot of things in the campus. So by the end of my degree, I had experienced quite a lot of things, and I knew that what I liked and what I liked better, perhaps, and what I liked less. So after all that happened, when I was passing out, I had to decide finally what I wanted to do. Was it a job I wanted? Was it I wanted to go for some higher education, or would I want something else? So that's when I started, experimenting, in the sense that I started studying or started to learn more about different, options I had. So that's when I started researching about UPSC, and I spoke to a few seniors who were in service from our campus. I spoke to some other people I knew who had some knowledge and idea about that, and eventually I decided that it sounds interesting and it is something which I might enjoy, and that's when I decided. And I did not sit for placements, because I had decided that I'll prepare for UPSC in my final year, and placements were near, and I thought that if I'm going to prepare, I'd rather give all of my concentration to that, and I did not sit for placements, which was very lucky for me, because I got through, and it did not take me much time to prepare. Also, I was lucky in that respect. So all in all, my journey for preparation was very satisfying, in the sense that I did not have to struggle as such. I was staying at home in Ghaziabad. I used to go to Delhi whenever needed for a mock or for a test series or whatever, and basically that was a very happening period of my life, because all of a sudden after college you are again back to square one, and you're again a student and an aspirant, and no matter what college you're from or what background you're from, everyone is again at the same level you're preparing. So it was a very exciting time. I got to learn a lot, and luckily I got through very early, and in my second attempt I got into IAS. So it has been a wonderful journey ever since. So basically what I wanted to talk to all of you guys about today in this video is life of a young IAS officer or basically a civil servant. But since I am in the IAS, so I'll talk about from the perspective of an IAS officer, right? So like I told you, right now I am posted as an SDM, which is mostly the first field posting in all cadres. You get to go back to your cadre after training, and you get posted as SDM, which is known as Sub-Divisional Magistrate, and or as SDO, which is known as Sub-Divisional Officer, right? So you go back and you are posted as SDO and SDM, and as an SDM, your responsibilities are very diverse. It's a very very diverse role as such, because you have you have so many things on your plate. You have to look after schemes and their implementation. You have to look after law and order. You have to look after your own court. Then you have various other government schemes and plans which keep on happening throughout the year. Some new things are launched, you have to implement them. Then obviously your day-to-day work, office work goes on. So, and basically when you are posted in the field, everything under the sun in your area is your responsibility as an IAS officer. So it's a very diverse posting in that respect. So and obviously when the work is so diverse and you have a lot of interaction with people from a lot of backgrounds, which is again something which is very unique of of the IAS basically. So in that also I get to talk to and meet people from the NGOs, from private sector, from civil society, from police, from judiciary, all organs of the state and otherwise of the country, and civil society. You just meet all of them, you have to work with all of them, you have to take all of them on board. So if there is anything, you have to talk to all of them, and it's a very diverse kind of a posting. So in a typical day of my current posting, it is mostly about taking these kind of meetings and VCs which happen with various departments. You are monitoring some scheme, some work, and you are basically taking stock of a situation. Then again you have field visits, you go and you inspect and you see how work is going on. It can be a scheme, it can be a construction work, it can be running of a midday meal, or it can be functioning of a school, anything. And you visit that and you try to see if it is running smoothly, or perhaps how it should be running. Then you, apart from these visits and meetings and VCs, you have a lot of people who come to meet you with various kinds of requests, grievances, issues, and you try to solve as many of them as possible. That is another thing which is there on a daily basis, which we do, right? So work wise, a typical day would start at around 10, and it will end at around, it will depend, but it ends at around 6, 7, 7:30, 8. If there is a late VC, you never know, you are stuck in the office till very late. So that is how a typical day for me is goes. And it's a very happening day in the sense, because it's not monotonous. It's not like just file work, you're just signing things, or it's not just meeting, you're meeting people. It's not just visits, you're just visiting. You do all of that, and it happens on a daily basis. Like, it's not like you will be stuck in meetings only for a complete day. It has never happened. Something or the other will be there, right? So work wise, it's very challenging, it's very diverse, and because we are young, it's our first posting, so there are so many things that we have to figure out while we work. There's so many officers, so many various organs, and people are there who are much more experienced than us, who are working in that field for a lot of years. But then because of our service, because of our post, we are suddenly their senior, and they expect us to take decisions on things which perhaps require a lot more experience. But then that's what the service is about. You have to figure things out. People rely on your decision, people rely on your decision taking ability, and they rely on your leadership skills. So that is something again which is very tremendously different about the IAS. You get such an opportunity to lead and do certain things which perhaps is not even fathomable in any other sector or job. So again, it's a very nice thing for me to experience on a daily basis. Then another aspect of life of a young officer is obviously the personal life, right? So the personal life of an officer in the field, an IAS officer in the field, is very challenging, because like I said, when you are posted in field, the entire jurisdiction is basically dependent on you and your decision making and your availability to lead in a situation of crisis. And crisis will never come with a warning, right? It will just come, and if you're not there to deal with that situation right there and then, it is a problem. So leaves are always an issue. Then most of the people who are outsiders like me, I'm not from Bengal, I'm posted in Bengal, so my family stays in UP, and so they have to come whenever they can come. So it's a challenge that ways to have a balanced life. But then this is something which perhaps we always knew when we were entering service, and this is perhaps something which we chose because this comes with the service. It's not something which is there only for me. It's there for most officers. Everyone is everyone, ever since this service has been this has been perhaps a sacrifice that you have to make for the service, that personal life will suffer a bit because you don't have time for your family. You cannot visit your home as much if you are not from the same place or from the same state. Your parents are not there, they perhaps are in some other state, so that challenge is always there. But then again, that is part of the service, that is part of the job, right? So in certain situations when you face these things, it is important for you to do something which occupies you in your free time, in your personal time, in your me time, in your own time when you are at home alone, or perhaps you live alone or whatever. So in those situations, it is very important for officers, specifically young officers, that I've seen also in my small service. It's very important to inculcate, or you just have some nice habits. Start reading. If you don't read, just pick any book and you start reading, and you develop that habit, because that will help you a lot in your free time. It will keep the negative emotions away, it will keep the negative thoughts away. If not that, you can write, you can paint, you can sketch, you can do all these things in your free time. And actually it's more like you have to do all these things in your free time, because otherwise it's very challenging, it's very tough. Because these things actually keep your brain busy, it keeps you busy, it allows you to not think about work when you are at home. Anyway, you are at office all the time, and if you are at home and thinking about work only, so it's just not healthy. So these things also help you there. So in a way, having these hobbies, learning new things, taking up new courses all the time, trying to just grasp knowledge and wisdom from whatever source you can, is something which I feel is a huge part of the life of any young officer. Definitely it's part of mine. I just try to read as many books as possible. I write and I sketch and I paint. I do all this whenever I get time. So if I wake up and I have some extra time in my hand, I will rather sit and read a book rather than just scroll Instagram. So something like that is again a part of my life as a young officer, because I feel that this is the time when I still have time to look after all these things. Another thing which I feel is very important for young officers, and it is a part of their life, is something which is ignored, but I feel more and more officers are now starting to think about it, is taking care of their own health and the fitness, which again gets hampered a lot when you are posted in the field, because you don't have time for yourself. You don't care what you're eating, when you're eating, how much you're eating, how much sleep you're getting. So so it's very tough that way. So it's a challenge of the life of a young officer, because you kind of ignore your personal health to a point that it will eventually, and it eventually starts impacting you. So that is also a challenge for a young officer, because you just don't have time to think about what you're going to eat or plan your meals, and you don't have that luxury. So you eventually start thinking about it when things go drastically wrong. But then this is something which I feel more and more officers are now looking at in a positive way.
DKT UPSC CSC, अगर आप केवल सिविल सर्विस परीक्षा के प्रीलिम्स, मेंस और इंटरव्यू के वीडियो देखना चाहते हैं तो सब्सक्राइब करें DKT UPSC CSC चैनल। यहाँ आपको टॉपर्स के वीडियो रैंक के हिसाब से अरेंज मिलेंगे। चैनल के लिंक के लिए डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में जाएं।
So in my tenure as an SDM here, I've been here for more than 1.5 years. I've had some very exciting times there, some very weird situations, some very things which I have never imagined I would face, but they were all experiences for me. So I have always taken the positive out of them. So I have done it all in a very short tenure, be it recruitment, be it raids, be it cases, be it meetings, VCs, all these are anyway regular things. But I have done everything which you read about in newspaper and SDM does. So it has been a very satisfying posting for me. I have enjoyed myself over here. and I hope that it will remain like that. So for a young officer, it's very important for us to not let the spirit of service and spirit of helping and being kind to people die, because as soon as you enter service, the feeling of entitlement, the feeling of having arrived, the feeling of making it comes, and it just takes over every other thing. So that is something which I feel again is a very important part for me, for my life, that you have to stay grounded. You've just cleared an exam, and I feel that it should be treated as an exam only. So I try my best to remain grounded and be kind to everyone, help as many people as possible, just not in my official capacity, in personal capacity also. So that is something which I feel is also another part of our life, which I feel more and more officer absolutely agree with me on this. So so this is in short life of a young IAS officer who is posted in field and who is trying to work, manage his personal life, take care of his health, take care of his family, take care of his wife, take care of whatever his goals are, but take care of his hobbies and passions. So this is something more or less like a juggling trick, that you have so many balls in your hands and you have to keep juggling them to maintain a balance and preventing them to fall, right? So that is what basically in essence we are doing. We have so many things in our hands, and the only way for us to not let them fall is to keep juggling them and just keep juggling till we go somewhere else and we start the trick once again from scratch. So this was my take on my journey so far, and how life of a young officer is. It's tough at times, but then in the end it's worth it. Thank you so much.